Hey, what's up? You're here today with Nick the Informative Fisherman, and today we're going to be discussing the drop shot rig. If you don't already know what a drop shot rig is, basically it's a weight, and just up from that you have your hook right here on the line and your worm hooked onto that. It's a lot more complicated than it looks. Sure, you cast it out and you drag it and you see your worm moving along. The key parts is you need to throw it on spinning tackle because you're going to be throwing light fluorocarbon line, and the reason why you use fluorocarbon over mono is it sinks, you have a lot less stretch, you have that sensitivity for fishing down deeper, and you're doing a finesse style, so you're going to be moving it slow, dragging it across the bottom. You need to feel everything. The reason why you use a spinning rod is you can throw that lighter tackle and your line resistance is against your eyes. It's not designed for power like a bait casting rod. It's designed for something more finesse, which is your drop shot setup. On your drop shot, the type of hooks you want to use are mosquito hooks, and the reason why is the eye is offset. It leans back, so when you fasten that hook on with a Palomar knot, your hook needs to be pointed upright. So when the bass bites it, he gets it in the top of the mouth. If you fasten your hook with a Palomar knot and it's pointed down, what you do is you take your line and you rerun it back through the top of the eye. Where the hook point is, through the eye that direction, and what that'll do is it'll turn your hook over to face upright, which is essential. Don't rig it when it's downwards. You won't get as nearly the amount of hookups. Next part is these drop shot weights. You actually run your line right through this little clip right here, and you pull your line to fasten it. Now someone will say, oh, won't that pop off really easy? You bet. That's the point. Once you got a fish on your main line here and he's hoisting you around and he drags that weight into a rock, you want this to give loose. I'm going to show you. I'll pull it up from the main line. I got this hook right here just to prove it. I won't take it out of the sight here. And I'll pull. There it goes. The weight gave loose way before the hook did, which is essential. You do not want to take a chance at losing the fish over a little tiny weight. What do you buy this weight for? To catch fish. Don't worry about the weight. If you lose it, go get another one. Catch the fish. That is key. Fluorocarbon line. Definitely have to use fluorocarbon. What I like to use is a size 1/0 in my hooks. Mosquito hooks, I prefer Owner or Gamakatsu. That's the choice for me. Okay, now let's talk about rigging these worms. When you're rigging the worm, you can do it wacky style, which is hook right in the egg bladder. Don't mind my shaky hands. Right in the egg bladder, so when you're twitching it, your worm will walk all over. I like to do this on a free line setup, not my drop shot. I won't get into that. But what you want to do is you want to rig it about 5 ribs down. So you go into your worm and you run it through to where he's sitting on the shank of the hook like so, to where he can move around freely. This way, if you have current, the worm's moving naturally in the current, versus if it was just on the hook point here running through the body of the worm, say I was like Texas rigging it, the worm would be riding very unnatural from the tension of the line. It could be offset like so in the water. Instead, we want it to be moving around naturally on that shank right there. Other guys will tell you to just run it off the hook point because you'll get more movement when you're twitching your line. That's not what you want. Trust me, you want to have it right here on the shank. Use a size 1 hook. 1 or 1/0's fine. And now let's go into retrieval, which is key. When you cast it out, boom, you make your little cast out there, you let it sink down to the bottom, you get that slack light in so you can start feeling that action. I've seen guys say, hey, bounce it up, bounce it, make it twitch all over. Don't do that. This is a finesse style. Just move it across the bottom real slow and let this let this soft plastic worm do the work for you, okay? He'll move all over. You know, when he's free running the hook like that and moving all over, that's plenty of finesse. That's all you need. This is not a reaction lure, so let's not make it one. When you're bringing it in, just drag it up. You don't want your weight hopping off the bottom. That's bad. You don't want to cause attention to your weight. This is a finesse style. You want to cause the attention to that worm, so drag it. Once you feel that tension, you can back off the tension to let that worm fall and give it a little action, and then gradually move it back up to where your line's tense again. Don't hop it. You're going to jerk your weight up. You're going to cause it to become a reaction type lure, which it's not. You want it to remain finesse, so you want to drag your weight. Once you get tension on your line, you can drop your rod tip back down, and that's cool. Once you hook them, you do not do a snapping hook set. Do not do that. This is a drop shot setup. You're using light line, light equipment. Don't abuse it. Do a sweeping hook set. You're using a small hook. You got a sharp point. sweeping hook set, something smooth, step back, just like that. You don't need it any faster than that. Bring in a lot of line, put that hook on them. That hook will set itself just fine. Another key part is utilize your drag. Don't abuse your line. You're going to be fishing all day. Let's say you hoisted a big one in the beginning, and you put a fray in your line that you didn't notice, and then you hook a friggin' 7 or 8 pounder on 8-pound test later that day. You need that line. Do it the right way. Do it the smart way. You utilize your drag. If he's running, let him take that drag. Utilize it. That's what it's for. It's a finesse style. So remember, when you're drop shotting, do it smart. You know, fluorocarbon line. Use those weights. Hook those weights on the bottom that are not going to be stronger than the knot that you have tied on your hook. On your hook with your knots, remember, Palomar knots, lubricate that line. Don't forget, don't take a chance. Lubricate, let that worm run around free on the shank. Size 1 hooks. Go have some fun with your drop shot. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up. I'm your host, Nick the Informative Fisherman, and we'll see you next time.